let's open the meeting.
Tax dollars at work.
Yes.
How you doing, Marshall?
I'm doing well, and you?
Sorry.
Okay, so open to 7 up. I had sent out some financial documents to everyone. What we have is the town revenue analysis and year-by-year comparisons and the budget from last year and also the first month from this year.
Got it.
So there were no, I didn't find any outstanding anomalies in last year's budget, and with this year, with only 1 month, it what we normally find is that some of the expenditures are going to be zero. Some of the expenditures might be 100% expended through the first month because it's a contract and we pay it up front. Hey, Jane. Gene, did you have any, oh, you're muted.
Is that better?
That's much better.
Okay. You sure? You may not want me to talk.
Yeah, we got, did you have any questions on the financials?
I don't think so.
Marshall, is there any indication when they're going to go with a longer budget?
We'll have to ask Tracy about that. I don't have any indication.
Okay.
Is Tracy? Tracy's not here, is she?
She is not yet here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, we have Linda coming on.
How you doing? Are you talking to somebody?
Meeting. Zurich,
Where are you, Tom?
the
Over by the
polls.
firehouse.
Oh, at the polls. I was going to say, it looks, all right.
He's in Key Largo, drinking
Yeah.
margarita.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not sure I'd want to be there.
Did you guys see the golf facility opened up the other day? Of
Did, yeah. Did you go up there?
course I did.
Oh, all right.
How is it?
It's beautiful. It is
Is
just
it?
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And all of his hardship for the last year and a half was one neighbor to the, that would be to the
West.
west. This one woman, he said, and I've gotten to know the guy, Eric, pretty well over the last 2 years of the project just by email. And he said, this woman is just giving him so much grief. She's pushed back on everything. And now his lighting facility, because he wants to be able to use the outdoor heated mats at night as the seasons change.
Yeah.
She went to back to the board, so he has to have a lighting analysis done. And it's going to cost him another $12,000 or $13,000. He said, it's just killed him. She doesn't like the light that comes in, so he had to build up a burn or something. I don't know. He just, I saw the
burn.
veins coming out of his forehead every time he started to talk about it a little bit. So I kind of changed the subject.
But it's nice. It's a nice layout, I guess.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, it's just beautiful.
So what's it going to do for your game?
Nothing. Could do nothing.
Tom lives nearby. He could probably go there every day. Anyway, have we officially started the meeting?
We have officially started the meeting.
Oh.
We've gone through, I just asked for questions or comments on the financials. The total department expenditure report from last year was very straightforward.
Yeah.
we came in as being the cheapest folks around because while we had a budget that was about $7,700, we didn't spend anywhere near that amount. So we have an unencumbered amount that was over $4,000.
Whose budget you talking about? Ours?
Ours.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we didn't use a lot of, we lost our recorder
Yeah.
and we were pretty short on stuff. All right.
Probably didn't have membership fees this year either. But the overall budget, am I reading this correctly? It looks like about 17% was unencumbered. Let me see, unexpended rather. About 3.6 million was unexpended.
No, I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry, looking at the wrong. You know what? My budget pages were stapled together
Ah,
from 20 and 21. So I was looking at the wrong number. All right. Sorry about that.
it's okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. So yeah, 12%, something like that.
11.2.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Hopefully that speaks to a pretty sizable free cash, I think,
It should.
unless the revenues were down, which maybe they were.
Well, our revenues for the year,
Oh, no, they're not.
they're down.
Total's not down either. All right. Okay,
Okay.
I'm done. Erica.
Welcome back. Okay.
Hey there, I think I'm unmuted now.
You are.
We had an office shift and I'm in a spot that's not mine. So,
Okay.
Does
So-
Erica know everybody? Do you know KV?
Hi, how you doing? KV Yasser.
hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Linda's here, but she doesn't want to show herself.
No, I don't know how to
Oh,
I don't
come
know how
on.
to turn it on.
You say that all the time. Come on.
No, I'm serious. It's got a thing across the, I don't know what the hell to do. I was late.
Okay.
What am I gonna?
Well, you can listen.
It's
How's
good
our
when
new-
Linda
how is
talks,
our
there's a
new-
camera with a line through it. It's like Ghostbusters.
How's our new constable?
We're here.
Okay, that's why you're at the polls.
Yes.
Okay. So Tracy,
Yeah.
on the agenda, we have the waiving of the special town meeting in October. Do you want to comment on that?
Sure. We obviously we did hold our annual town meeting in June. There was some controversy about holding it, but given the timelines that we were facing and all of the protocols that we put in place, it was a successful town meeting, and we have an operating budget for fiscal year 2021. At this point in time, there's, I don't have anything in particular on the agenda that would drive us to hold a fall town meeting. The select board hasn't, made a definitive determination whether or not we'd hold one, but certainly would want to hear from the finance committee about would welcome your input on that issue as well.
Okay. I'll take that as an action item. That would go to the select board.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Do we have any year-end transfers or things to wrap up from FY20?
Nope.
Okay.
FY20 is in the process of being closed. We're a little bit behind schedule because of everything we've been working on relative to the pandemic. So
Do we have a schedule for closing for the finishing up FY20?
we don't usually finish up until, late September.
Okay. So hopefully by our next meeting. Okay. The CARES Act. How are we standing on the CARES Act?
Initially, when, back in March, when all of this started happening, I was a little bit concerned for potential deficits in operating budgets. But already to date, we've received about $110,000 in grant funding, not just CARES Act, but other state grants that we've applied for. And we do expect to receive FEMA funding as well. So I don't have any concerns about fiscal 2020 deficits, and depending on, how the flu season and the whole winter season goes, I expect that we'll be able to secure additional funding so that we wouldn't be in a deficit position, particularly for public safety.
Now, is that 2020 or 2021?
Both, because we had a lot of expenditures in 2020 as well, but those have all been covered.
Right, right. So we're really looking at 2021
Right.
for, okay. Very good.
That's what we like to hear. Hey, Tom. Fun times.
Yes.
So you want to speak to the clear government financial accessibility that we have now?
Yeah, I welcome you all to take a peek at it. We had some conversations at the Board of Selectmen level about transparency and people being able to see things online, at their leisure when they have an opportunity to peruse it, rather than having to ask for public records request and wait. And so we did move forward with ClearGov. It took longer than we thought to get up and running, but it's there. The information is there. I haven't had any. I thought it might generate some calls and people seeking additional information, but it hasn't. So maybe they're getting what they need online. I think with the pandemic, a lot of people have taken advantage of all of our web offerings to a degree where they haven't done that in the past. We've had it available in the past, but really for the most part, there wasn't a lot of utilization, but now people are absolutely using it. So maybe they're finding the information they're seeking right on the website. But we'll keep going with it.
Tracy, do you know how many people have utilized it?
I do not. I could probably get a number from the IT director
Okay.
if that's something you're interested in. Yep.
It would be interesting to see how many people are going on it, and just to see how it's working.
Sure.
Leslie Matthews has a question.
Yes, thank you, Marshall. I have a question for Tracy, just a quick one. Is the checkbook part of it open for the public to see, or is that still part of the program that you guys are all working on? Because I have gone on and looked at it at a number of different occasions, but just wanted to see if the checkbook portion was up and ready to go.
I believe it is, but I'll confirm with the town accountant. I know we plan to have the checkbook online, and I know she was working on it quite a while ago. So let me.
Yeah, this has been in like the past week, 2 weeks that, just to go online, see how everything's coming together.
Yep. Well, we wouldn't post it. The checkbook is something that gets posted probably once a year, so you'd see all the expenditures at once. I don't know that it's something that gets posted after every warrant, but I'll confirm that with her and get back to you, Mrs. Matthews.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Well, one of the things I wanted to do, town hall project. Where do we stand with that piece? Or do we have any update on that?
The Board of Selectmen did discuss it at one of their recent meetings. I don't recall the exact date. And they had the architect who designed the
That's right.
station on, and they talked about moving forward with some preliminary schematic designs, but they haven't made any determinations on, or haven't commissioned that work as of yet.
Okay, so there's no work commissioned quite yet.
Nope.
All right.
Nope, and I don't know if you're aware, the Council on Aging has issued a report about their space needs.
Yes.
So, they're looking at, potentially what may have been in the past a police station town hall. Maybe there could be a Council on Aging town hall, or they're going to look at a number of various locations around town to see if there's something that would lend itself particularly well to the COA.
So is the town hall group and the COA group working together?
I think we will eventually work together. There isn't a committee appointed yet for the town hall. The Council on Aging chairman is working on the request for proposal for their design engineering work, their space needs assessment. So at some point, once they have what their actual space needs are, I would imagine, they would certainly come together. We had used an architect, I think their name was CSS Architects, if I'm not mistaken. So that might be someone they'd want to reach out to.
Okay. All right. I wanted to welcome Erica back as our newest member. And she had done great work with us before, so I'm delighted to have you back, Erica.
Thank you, Marshall. It's a pleasure to be back. Do your hiatus.
Yes. All right.
Seems like a good time to re-up and serve again.
It is a good time. It is a good time. Leslie, do you have your hand up again, or did you just not take it down?
Sorry, Marshall, I did not take it down.
Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. All right. Is there anything else anyone would like to cover? Any new business? Seeing on our next meeting would occur on the 6th of October. How does that look for people's calendars?
September, October.
Good here.
Perfect. I'm logging.
All set.
All right.
I'm good.
Linda? Linda's muted.
I'm trying to unmute me. Which for me, you guys all know, for me, that's a really hard thing to do.
Yes, it is.
You're doing well. You're doing well.
I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
October
good.
6th. All right.
Good God, October already? No.
Any other concerns? Anybody else want to weigh in on anything that we have going forward?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I had forgotten. A couple of years ago, maybe more than that, we talked about email addresses through the town. And Tracy, I don't know where that stands or whether it even went anywhere at the time, but I think it's something we may want to look at for individual FinCom members rather than personal email. especially given all the back and forth we're doing. Any possibility of that happening?
Sure.
Okay, all
Yep.
right. I'm not sure if any other boards have it. The select board probably does, but I'm not sure.
They did. Yeah, let me put it on Susan's radar. Susan Noyce, our IT director.
Okay.
Just to look into it, you know, I think we need to decide whether we want to do that as a board, but,
I know we can.
yeah.
I know it'd be very easy to start doing group emails versus chasing through separately, trying to connect with everybody.
Right.
The only watch out that, Tracy, you can tell us if this applies as well here, is that I know the school committee has a central email address, and Narissa, as the chair, is the only one who replies, because you can't have discussions across email in violation of open meeting law.
Okay, yeah.
So that's been one. So citizens, like I've written in as a parent, weighing in on the reopening and all of that, and it's very much kept to. So that's the only part that I'd just be. I love the functionality of email that way, but it may or may not be a violation there, or
Yeah.
we could be open to someone claiming that there could be a violation.
Yeah, you have to be very disciplined in the way you manage it.
Yeah.
You'd never want, 5 different people saying 5 different things to constituents, or I think the way you described it is the perfect way for it to work. Everything would be responded to through the chair.
Yes, I think they all get the distribution, but she's the only one that responds, I believe. And everybody else can see the back and forth, but they don't weigh in. So
Yeah.
that's, I just.
For the selectmen as well. So an issue would come in through select board at Town of Newbury. If it was a relatively benign issue, say, can you fix my pothole on such and such a street? It would be dispatched from the office to the DPW. If it was a policy issue or something that required deliberations of the board, it would go on to the agenda. They deliberate, vote, and then a response would be provided. So there is a little bit of a time lag, but yeah, you definitely have to be very conscious of open meeting law.
Okay.
We as a committee could establish a protocol for managing that.
Yep, definitely.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, we could take a look at that. And we have Steve Manchin, who's just joined us, who is still muted. Is there anything you would like to bring up to FinCom, Steve? You're coming in right at the end, almost the end of the meeting.
I don't think he's on mute. There he goes.
There you go.
There you
See?
are.
Here we go. Let me try again.
You're good. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate the chance to comment. I'm going to say something I may have said at town meeting, but I was unable to go to that back in June. And just in terms of thinking down the road on finance issues, I'm thinking about the unfunded liabilities for retirement, which I think is on the order of $7 million right now.
Correct.
Thinking how that's one of the long-term liabilities the town is looking at. And that perhaps argues about how we try or may need to minimize some spending in the future, taking into account that we may need to put more money into that account. I believe we put $100,000 into it last time around. That's a 70-year payout, which exceeds my lifetime. So I suppose that's a good thing.
Well, Steve, we did take a look at that, and we'll continue to take a look at that. We are one of the towns that's paying it down. And one of the issues is that there is, of course, while we reflect the total liability is a liability over time. And so it is something we have to watch. It is like paying down a loan. We do have it out there.
I do think we start
Unlike
looking at
a loan, we don't have the exact amount that it's going to be because it depends on so many variables. So I think that is our
Well, Tracy did look at it
Updated every
last year, right?
Pardon?
We did stop to look at it last year, and they did add money to it, but then we ended up with COVID, which kind of threw a wrench in everything about adding or even thinking about adding money to it this year.
Right. And I certainly acknowledge that. I'm just trying to put it before the committee.
Yep.
It's one of those long-term things to be thinking about. If I may go through quickly, something else I sent in a message to the Finance Committee this evening had to do with, again, thinking down the road about how we've got some upcoming expenditures that we're going to have to wrestle with. You know, the fire station, the town hall, the senior center is now being talked about as another, major cost to the town that we'll be entertaining. And all that argues about how we need to be very careful, or ever more careful. I know Tracy is, and the committee is, and the selectmen is, or are, about, thinking about money down the road. But certainly I'm thinking about them, which is why I thought I'd raise it as a, quote, citizen's concern. And certainly we're also expecting to see the cost down the road for the police station when that's finally done. And on a personal note, and then I'm done, I'll note that out here in Plum Island, valuations are going up higher and higher and higher, in part because things like Airbnb are totally unregulated, and that's helping to drive the cost of, well, the valuation on real estate up and up and up. And what that means out here in Plum Island is that, particularly with the longstanding members of the community and the older members of the community, of which I count myself, we're seeing the tax liabilities consequently going up and up and up with our valuations. And to some extent, that isn't welcome. Many people like me just want to live here, and we don't really care about our valuations going up. So budget, that becomes a concern for me about how we take on new expenditures, and we see how it gets reflected in Plum Island property values and taxes. I don't think I've said that very well, but I think you all can connect the dots for me.
Yes, I think we can do that for you, Steve.
Thank you.
And you bring up some very good things. Certainly the downstream planning is a function of our capital planning committee. We'll be taking that up again this year and looking at the long-term plans. We've got some of those already in the works. And it's part of a presentation that I will be giving to the select board at their next, not their next meeting, the meeting on the 22nd, where I've taken a look. We did this actually when I was first on the board. Gene will remember back in 2009, 10, we did a study. And then I updated the study for this year. And so that will be on, I think it's on the agenda for the 22nd, whenever that select board is. Because you raised some very good points about how the finances are changing and what it means for our town, and even more importantly for the town, the state, and the federal government, and just looking at those things and how they all impact us at the all of those factors impact us at the town level. So I'll be talking about that at the select board meeting later on this month.
I have a question for Steve, just a follow-up, Steve.
Sure.
On the Airbnb on the island, is that something that's really growing significantly in terms of, as you understand it, or not?
It's anecdotal observation.
Okay, all right.
Is it a change from, following along on that, is it just that people are using Airbnb rather than using local realtors? It's like, has a number of properties that are rented gone up where they're not owner inhabited, they're just bought as an investment vehicle? Because right now, I just know the local stock of real estate, I mean, things are on the market a day and they're contingent or pending. I mean, so right now everyone's property valuation, not at the town level, but at real estate, is going to go higher, which then impacts what all the comps are. So it's not, so that part's definitely going to be rising. But I thought that was mostly for residences or second homes, not so much as investment properties.
Again, what I see is anecdotal, and I do see homes being purchased, and then I see a lot of cars being parked in the driveways.
So it could be interesting. Do we have anything at the town level in terms of, as I know when we've rented in Wellfleet, there's a surcharge when you rent in certain jurisdictions out in Montana. Because they're high tourist areas, they've figured out how to tax on those Airbnbs and collect that. If that's an opportunity.
Well, it's certainly something to look at. But-
Right, I would certainly defer to Tracy and the other members of the town committees. But
Yeah, because
it's something to look at.
trying to remember if Newburyport allows, or I know there was an issue in front of Newburyport in the last year or two where they were looking at not allowing Airbnb or VRBOs, specifically short-term rentals, or one side banning them, or on the second side monetizing them for the benefit of the town coffers and making it something that's adding value so that we can add services.
It's a tough one. And again, speaking for myself, ultimately becomes a quality of life issue, not just in terms of the taxes, but just in terms of how many people are getting packed into these rather, in many cases, small cottages, not always small, admittedly. And you lose the sense of being in a residential community, because we're not only a beach community, but we're also a residential community. Mm-hmm. And that's the quality of life issue, which may go beyond the purview of the finance committee. But I thought I'd put it out there, in part knowing that Tracy would be on the call too.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's been lovely. I've spent more time at the Plum Island Beach this year than any year past. I will say I love the town lot there, and the addition of Georgie Porgy's. That being open has been a game changer, and the porta potties have been clean. And I've driven up and gotten a parking spot pretty much anytime I've been on the island. So I love it. It seems to be much cleaner than in the years past. As I know we dealt with that, but I was giving serious thumbs up. I was like, this is so much better than going to Rye and fighting with parking.
Right. Tracy can add more, but it's my understanding that the Board of Health is having the porta potties cleaned daily, which goes a long way to keeping things a good operation there. And the police has also stepped up its presence, though they did that in part because, shall we say, in a matter of speaking, laid off from being the code enforcement officer because of the COVID-14 issues, that the department rightly doesn't want me to get sick, but they also don't want me to become infected and bring it into the police station and thereby affecting the whole department in a bad way. But yeah, things are pretty good out there. I still spend a lot of time there, but I try and avoid Georgie Porgy's as I pat my stomach.
My kids go, I think they use the ice cream as a candy delivery device because it has so many toppings. So
get the Jimmy's.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Anything else? Okay, our next meeting is October 6th. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And if you haven't done so yet, go vote.
Already did.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.